Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland did an interview with the Schmo where he completely humiliated himself multiple times and exposed himself as a complete and utter hypocrite. And he's done this in the past where he's just been such a hypocrite, but because he has a fan base that's like a cult-like following, because he kind of grifts to the right-wing fan base, nobody really talks about this. So we're going to go through the interview. We're going to look at some stuff from the past as well, because in this interview, he's borderline ducking Dricus du Plessis, ducking him in South Africa, that's for sure. He's complaining that he won the fight and that he was robbed against du Plessis, and countless other hypocritical statements that we're going to break down in this video. Let's jump right into it. And we're going to start off with one of the dumbest moments of the entire interview. And I know Sean Strickland's dumb, but I didn't realize he was this dumb. Listen to this. And also, right off the jump, this is a minute into the interview. By the way, everything that I show you in this video, I will link down in the description. I encourage you to go check it out for full context and support their channels. But right off the jump, we're a minute in, already making a hypocritical statement. He's talking about Khalil Rountree. And in the past, he's talked about Khalil Rountree. Obviously, Rountree is now fighting Pereira. Sean Strickland is Pereira's, soy boy beta male, essentially. Pereira owns Sean Strickland now. And he starts talking about Khalil. Listen to this.
Oh, it's good, man. I think he has a really good fight ahead of him with Khalil. I think from what I've seen of Khalil, besides him being a dirty little liberal.
Have you sparred with him too, by the way, Khalil?
He's like a really emotional guy. Let me tell you.
He's a really emotional guy. By the way, typical Sean Strickland, he basically calls everyone liberal, soy boy, beta male. That's the only vocabulary he seems to have. But he's calling Khalil Rountree emotional. This is the guy right here that's calling Khalil Rountree emotional. So already a hypocritical statement. And that doesn't even get into everything else we're going to check out. We got a lot to check out. Check this out. We got this interview to check out. We got this interview to check out. We got this press conference from UFC, or it was UFC seasonal press conference to check out as well. But let's continue to listen to what he has to say here about Khalil Rountree, because this is one of the dumbest Sean Strickland clips I've seen of all time.
A story about Mr. Rountree. I'm going to tell you guys a story. Why I don't like Rountree, besides the fact that he's in a cult.
So he's in a cult. Okay, already we're what? We're a minute and 20 minutes into the interview. I've only played 20 seconds for you. He's in a cult. Does Sean Strickland do an interview without bringing up politics? Does he get on social media without bringing up politics? In his last post-fight interview, UFC 302, he talked about donating to a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire political candidate. That's all he talks about on social media. That's all he talks about in every interview, throwing out political buzzwords, this and that. I think Sean Strickland might be in a cult. But yet he's talking about Khalil Rountree being in a cult. And believe me, it gets way worse. Listen to this.
We all know. You know that, right?
No.
Yeah, he's in like Las Vegas Choice. Yeah, he's in a fight cult. Anyways, I regress.
He regresses. He doesn't digress. He regresses. So Sean Strickland regresses. Yeah, he has regressed. Honestly, he talks about going to war, but he doesn't go to war. He just jabs and teeps for 5 rounds. Okay, we're going to skip ahead because I don't really care about the story that he tells. It's just a dumb story. But again, here's him, more political buzzwords, and then also questioning whether or not Khalil Rountree is black, which is very, very bizarre considering what he says later in the interview about basically he doesn't want to fight DDP in South Africa because South Africans are racist. So here's Strickland basically being racist. Meanwhile, he's saying that's why he can't fight in South Africa. But he said that in the past as well. I've covered that in the past. But listen to this.
She makes a joke. She goes, oh, sexual harassment. And Khalil, this little beta male, he goes, I'm a black man. Well, I don't, Khalil, are you a black man? We don't know yet. You don't sound like a black man. He goes,
So he doesn't know if Khalil's a black man because of his voice, apparently. Can't tell with his eyes. Very disturbing and weird to even say such a thing.
I'm a black man in America. You don't accuse me of that. And after that moment when I realized Khalil is a liberal cuck beta male, we can't be friends anymore.
So there you go. More political buzzwords. Sounds like he's in a cult. Maybe, maybe not. Now this next clip is actually my favorite clip of the whole interview, to be quite honest. There's far more we're going to get to here in a little bit about South Africa and DDP and him claiming he won the fight and so on and so forth. But he talks about the last time he's seen Khalil Rountree. And if you know the story of Sean Strickland over the past year, this clip should be very hilarious to you. Listen to this.
I actually, he came to the gym once, and he asked me in a very respectful way to stop making fun of him and his cult. And I said I would try, and here I am failing.
So Khalil Rountree very respectfully asked him to stop talking about him and his religion, I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but Strickland doesn't specify what kind of cult it is, so I'm assuming it's something to do with Khalil Rountree's religion. And he very respectfully asked him to stop. Now, what I find so hilarious about that is, and this should have ended Sean Strickland's career to begin with. His fans should have abandoned him, regardless of talking about going to war and bleeding for you guys and then going out and jabbing and teeping in the most boring fights ever. What he did with DDP pre-UFC 297 was some of the most embarrassing, hypocritical moments I've seen in a UFC fighter's career. Because what happened is DDP embarrassed him at a press conference, okay? Sean Strickland then went and cried, okay? But then, afterwards, he came out and said, yeah, DDP better never talk about me again or I'm going to kill him, right? And luckily, DDP is so intelligent that he recognized what Sean Strickland was doing. He did something else behind the scenes, but then he put on this aggressive, threatening front to pretend as if that's the reason DDP stopped what he was doing. That's the reason DDP didn't talk any more trash. Because Strickland tried to have him canceled. That didn't work. He cried on a podcast like a little bitch. That didn't work. So what he did was publicly threaten DDP, but privately, what did he do? He DM'd DDP, begged him for forgiveness, begged him to stop trash talking him because he was too busy crying over it. Okay? That's what he did. Listen, you don't believe me? Listen to DDP for yourself, and Sean Strickland has acknowledged it himself as well.
I opened my phone and I saw a DM from Sean Strickland, and I thought it was maybe like a fan page, going to be hate mail or something like that. And I see, no, it's actually Sean Strickland's page. I do follow him. And it said, hey, so something along the lines of, listen, this is what happened. I'm sorry what I said about your coach.
He's messaging another man and apologizing for trash talking. Please don't make me cry again. And, him messaging him is kind of embarrassing to begin with because of the way he acts, that he's an alpha male, and there's all these betas and, Khalil's emotional and he's a cuck and this and that. But the real problem I have is the fact that publicly he's threatening him, privately he's slobbering all over him. And that's what DDP exposes here. We'll listen to the rest of this.
And but if there's anything that's crossing the line for you, just, and he's like, listen, I know we sell a fight and all that, but if there's anything out of line that I said that you want me to pull back, like, I'll apologize. I'll even take back what I said. I'll remove post.
How is this not the end of Sean Strickland's fan base right then and there? He's not exciting. Now he's begging DDP for forgiveness. Look, if you need to, send me some rules. And even DDP's ashamed of it. Listen to him here. He's like, I wouldn't even brought this up if it wasn't for him bringing it up because Sean Strickland mentioned it. But really, Sean Strickland was trying to pull a fast one over on the fans and say, yeah, I threatened DDP. That's why I didn't say anything else.
And, I feel kind of like this is not a great move to, but he brought it up. I would have never told the media about this. Otherwise, this happened 5 weeks ago. I would have talked about it. I don't want to expose a man in that way. It's not my style. I was actually surprised that I saw him make it public that he did message me because I didn't want to out him on that. But
Strickland didn't say what he messaged him. He said basically he messaged him and threatened him, is what he said. So DDP realizes it's embarrassing. He didn't want to expose this man and make him cry again. But anyway, let's jump back to the Schmo interview. Because the point of showing you all that is Strickland cried and whined and tried to cancel DDP, but then he privately messaged him, begged him for forgiveness, begged him for rules. And then DDP said, I felt sorry for him, so I stopped. And Khalil Rountree apparently went to Sean Strickland man to man and said, hey, man, stop talking about my religion. And Sean Strickland couldn't dare give him that same respect. So hopefully Khalil Rountree, maybe says something about Sean Strickland and his daddy. That's what Khalil Rountree should do. We're going to get to more, kind of Sean Strickland projecting his insecurities onto others. But we'll get to that in a second. Next clip we're going to take a look at is him talking about a potential rematch against Dricus du Plessis. And he's insisting it is in America and talks about, I'm not going to Africa because of colonization. And, he doesn't maybe explicitly said that, but he said that in the past. And he says, look, we're going to do it in America. He's not the champion. He's never defended the belt. He's never earned a title shot in his entire career. But he's trying to dictate where the champion defends his belt next. A guy who's actually defended his belt, okay? Listen to this.
Trap. Here's the thing, Dutchman. The world knows I won. You know I won. God.
It was those dirty liberal judges. That most of them live in Las Vegas, by the way.
God gave you a gift in that cut, and I still won. I was going to walk through you for 5 rounds, son, and you fucking know this,
So, first off, the cut that Sean Strickland, I made an entire video on this. I'll link it down in the description. The cut that Strickland talks about, he says that it was a headbutt. It was not a headbutt. It was a punch from Dricus. But let's continue.
I understand that you want to duck me a little bit, and that's fair. UFC, Hunter, Dana, they said it's down, my man, so you give me the date. Let's come to America, the land of the free. Let's not go to any shady colonization countries. I guess America did a little colonization. But
So let's not go to any colonization country. He doesn't want to go to South Africa. He said in the past explicitly, I don't want to fight in South Africa because they're racist there. Well, you know what's funny? Sean Strickland has a history of making borderline racist, if not explicitly racist, comments. And he did another interview with the Schmo's wife, Helen Yee, okay? Which we're going to take a look at real quick. And I clicked on the wrong thing. And while we're speaking of, he doesn't want to fight in South Africa because of racism, okay? Let's just look at about 30 seconds. I'm not going to go through it all because some of it is just not really super relevant. And I really don't feel like listening to it again. But let's listen to a couple, about 30 seconds from the Helen Yee interview. Because if South Africa is racist, I guess he just made America racist with the comments he's making here talking about Chinese people. Listen to this.
But I discovered something. It made me hate.
Let me turn this up a little bit because for some reason this is kind of low. But listen to this.
But I discovered something. It made me hate the Chinese people even more.
By the way, this edit is not me. It's just some weird edit that's in there. She's like, okay, you probably shouldn't have said that. I discovered something that made me hate Chinese people more. He's talking about a trip to Japan, I believe.
Dude, they're worst tourists. Like, Chinese people are the worst. You're not fucking Chinese, you're white.
So then he tells her she's not Chinese, she's white. I'm not sure what her ethnicity is. But if that doesn't seal it up, again, I just want to go through this really quickly. This is another clip. This is like 30 seconds later. This is what he has to say about Chinese people, okay? You could say ethnicity, race, culture, whatever. But he can't go to South Africa and fight there against a champion who wants to defend in his home country because of racism. But then this is the things that he's saying in interviews.
It's like loud, they're dirty, like the Chinese are all bad, And I'm not racist because like Asians are all Asians. I love the Japanese, I love the Koreans.
So, I mean, just because you say something like that and then afterwards say, oh, well, I'm not this, even though you just said something that proves that you're that, it doesn't just absolve you of everything. That's not the way it works, But I've regressed, okay? I've regressed. Not I digress, I regress. Because like Strickland did earlier. So, talking about he's not going to South Africa again because of colonization, then that. Next clip talks about Dricus' country being racist yet again. So again, hypocritical. You just looked at the other interview where he's talking about Asian people or Chinese people in particular. Look what he's saying now about DDP and, stuff about South Africa.
I'm ready. Listen here, Dricus, Dutchman. I know you like to take a year off and you want to go walk.
By the way, when's the last time Dricus has taken a year off? I'd love to know. What was it? Even in like 2020, 2021, maybe he only fought like once the calendar year, but he was fighting like 6 months apart, something like that, 8 months apart. So, and in the last few years, he's fought like twice a year, every year, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. So he's saying, yeah, Dricus, I know you like to take a year off. That's just not true.
Walk around. You want to go walk around and stay away from all the black people in the country you colonize. I know that's what you want to do, bro. Don't take a year off. Let's handle this like men. I'm ready. You're not ready, but let's get it done.
What? I mean, does this make any sense at all? Does this make any sense at all?
You want to go walk around and stay away from all the black people in the country you colonize? I know that's what you want to do, bro.
So again, implying that South Africa is racist, and in particular, in this particular clip, implying that DDP is racist, okay? You know, nobody's calling this out. Nobody will call it out. When Adesanya says, hey, look, you know, he's kind of implying we're not really Africans. This is kind of racist. Everyone's jumping down Adesanya's throat. But Strickland is explicitly calling him a racist. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Massive hypocrite, especially considering, you know, what he's saying in this interview about Asian people. Next clip we're going to take a look at. I think he actually exposes himself here. I genuinely think he exposes himself here. Because, you know, we know Sean Strickland's past of saying ridiculous things. But I think maybe here, the way he's talking shows, you know, it's kind of exposing his past a little bit, you know. And right here, he's talking about David Goggins, who I believe is an influencer. He's like some exercise guru influencer, whatever. And, you know, we know Sean Strickland only jabs and teeps against actual UFC caliber fighters. But when he's talking about like these influencer internet personalities, he'll fight them like he's in a war because he knows there's going to be no resistance, especially when they're smaller guys. Unless it's Jake Paul, then he'll turn that down, even if $1 million is on the line. He'll make up an excuse for why he can't box him, even though he could spar him, no problem, but he was scared of losing because somebody who actually has some skills in combat sports, he didn't want to get embarrassed. But David Goggins, who's not a fighter, of course he wants to fight him, but listen to what also he has to say about him.
More or the Navy SEALs more?
I'm actually in the wrong timestamp. I was a minute behind, but that's the original question. Starts going off about David Goggins. Listen to this.
And you don't want a piece of this. You better stay your ass on the fucking running. I do a man's game. I'm not running like a little woman. No.
Keep in mind, he ran from DDP the entire fight. Okay, that's why he lost, because he backed up and jabbed and teeped the entire fight. But yeah, of course, he's going to talk this way. He'll talk this way about influencers. He won't dare talk this way about anyone else. He won't dare, you know, imply that he'll fight this way. Well, he'll imply it, but he won't dare fight an actual UFC fighter in the manner that he's acting like right here.
Prey runs, motherfucker. You're going to be running from me, so Goggins, you talk your shit. By all means, talk your shit. But if you want a piece, my dog, come to Extreme. You're in Vegas. I'm in Vegas. All you got to do is get those little fucking legs and walk. You could jog to the fucking place.
But he ducked Jake Paul. Keep in mind, he ducked Jake Paul. But he'll act like this with David Goggins. He'll act like this with, I forgot the guy's name. It's some skinny dude who's like 120 pounds who he tried to brutalize and couldn't even drop him. And when he gets in the cage, he jabs and teeps the entire time after claiming he's going to go to war. But let's continue, because he exposes himself. He talks about his past a little bit here. I think it's a hint at Sean Strickland's past.
I am there, and my son, I will sodomize you, Goggins. Straight sodomication.
My son. I will what? If you don't know that word, look it up. Let's listen to that one more time. I just think this is awfully funny coming from Sean Strickland.
Legs and walk. You could jog to the fucking place. I am there, and my son, I will sodomize you, Goggins. Straight sodomication.
Look, I'm not really going to touch that too much. I'll let Sean O'Malley do it for me. Listen to Sean O'Malley here.
Hey, fucking Cheeto, let's go.
At least my dad didn't fuck me.
Wait, what do you say?
Said at least my dad didn't fuck me.
Oh, this fucking guy, man. Let me.
Sean O'Malley 10-7. Sean O'Malley 10-7. So Strickland talks all this crap about everyone else. Says, you know, stuff anti-women, you know, homophobic stuff, you know, brings up anything under the sun that he can use as ammo against anyone else, which is whatever. It is what it is. I'm not saying he shouldn't, but he can't handle it himself. He cries. This is what happens after Sean O'Malley and Dricus body him at the press conference. Matter of fact, let's go back to that press conference. Let's watch how badly Dricus embarrassed him. Just real quick. Let's watch how he's talking all this crap to Dricus. And then watch how bad and easily Dricus exposes him.
Dude, don't worry about that. You're going to get fucking finished that night. Your coach got you.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit up you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm going to show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is.
Look how angry he is. He's literally getting ready to burst out in tears right here. Literally getting ready to burst out in tears from one sentence. Dricus didn't talk crap the entire press conference. This is the one time.
I'm gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one. The one where you lie in bed at night, where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul. You understand me?
So there you go. Dricus absolutely bodying him. And meanwhile, and Sean O'Malley also bodying him. Meanwhile, he's talking about dads. Doing what? Doing what?
Those little fucking legs and walk. You could jog through the fucking place. I am there, and my son, I will sodomize you, Goggins. Straight sodomication.
Sounds like he's talking about his childhood. That's what it sounds like to me. And, you know, there's some strong rumors going around that Sean was beaten by his dad as a kid to keep him in the closet. And that's all he does is talk about dicks. He talks about balls. He talks about really bizarre stuff. And that's him trying to cover up the fact that, you know, maybe he feels a certain way about the same sex, which I have no problem with. I don't care about what any fighter's sexuality is. But again, just exposing Sean Strickland for being a complete and utter embarrassment. Now, the last clip we're going to take a look at, if my dog will stop hitting my arm right here. My dog is with me right here, okay? Just chilling. But the last clip we're going to take a look at, if my dog lets me get to it, is him talking about making the division great again and also hyping up political figures. And I just find it funny because, again, remember he's talking about Khalil Rountree being in a cult. Okay, so check this out.
I love you guys. Thanks for riding with me. We're going to go fucking fight the Dutchman. It's going to be in America. We're going to bring that fucking belt back.
By the way, we're going to fight the Dutchman. We're going to be in America. Even though Dana White and Dricus have been adamant they want his next title defense to be in South Africa. By the way, I don't think Strickland's going to get the next title fight. But let's continue.
We're going to make the middleweight division great again.
Make the middleweight division great again. Make the middleweight division great again. What, jabs and teeps? Jabs and teeps? And then lastly,
vote Trump. Let's get it fucking done.
Do you finish when you guys fight, though?
Oh, he says he's gonna finish Dricus, which we all know that's not gonna happen unless he takes him to a back room afterwards. Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor style. So that's pretty much it. Sean Strickland, a massive hypocrite. My dog's here with me right now. It's just embarrassing, man. And his cult-like following. He has a cult-like following, which I don't even believe they're real fight fans, because if they were, they wouldn't tune in for a Sean Strickland fight. But it's just funny to me that he makes all these statements that are massively hypocritical. He talks all this crap about other people and says ridiculous things. But in reality, when somebody fires back at him, what does he do? He sits there and cries. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. And thank you so much for watching.